The inflation data is out, it's down more than expected, which is good news. And this has already led to some big banks dropping their mortgage rates for you guys, which is a great start to the month, I'm sure you'll agree. And this is really positive news that we're actually finally beating inflation. Now, this doesn't mean that prices are coming down. Some people get confused about this. It doesn't mean things are getting cheaper. It means they're getting not as expensive, not as quickly. They're not going up in price as quickly as they were. That's a better way to say it. And so it is slowing down significantly. And wage growth is actually outpacing inflation at the moment, which is good. If you've had a pay rise, that means you could be beating inflation and catching up at the moment. Jeremy Hunt has said that off the back of this wonderful news, because he's obviously taking all of the credit for this, ironically, they're saying that the government is saying, look, it's time for interest rates to come down and for people's mortgages to actually become more affordable. And that one, I do agree. So let's jump into this. I've got all the data on my magic post-it note. Before we do that, as always, if you haven't done already, do subscribe to the channel over there and hit the bell notification. We're going to hit 21,000 subscribers in the next few days, so you can help us get there a little bit faster. And smash the like button, tickle the like button, do something to that like button over there, guys. That really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. Every view that comes on this channel is down to a big part to all of you guys that press that like button, so do that now. So, where's inflation at? Well, it's a decent drop. They were forecasting that inflation would go from 4% to 3.5%, and it actually dropped to 3.4%. Every little bit counts. So that's moving us quite quickly towards that 2% target. Now, here's the good news, is that this hasn't taken into account yet that the energy prices and the energy cap moved down, and that's going to hit next month. So we could hit, it's possible, if all goes well, that we could hit 2% next month. That is really momentous news, and that's what we've been waiting for 2 whole years now. Inflation hits everybody, but it particularly hits people on lower incomes a lot harder than anybody else. So this is really positive news, especially as it's even better than the analysts were expecting. So that's good. And what's the driver of this inflation? Well, the main thing is that food is pretty much now level for the year. So it's a rolling 12 months average, and food hasn't gone up. Takeaway food has a little bit, but food that you eat at home from the supermarket is relatively flat now. That was one that was hitting people really hard. And I know what people will say in the comments, well, the price of rice or the price of pasta is really expensive, or olive oil was one, wasn't it, that was really expensive. And that's true, because this doesn't mean it's getting cheaper. It just means it's not going up anymore. And so it's going to probably stay at the rate that we're at now. And wage inflation and wage growth is what eventually will make things seem more affordable. So food is a big driver in today's report. Now, one thing that is hitting the inflation and keeping it up is petrol is up. You've probably seen that. We talk about that on the channel quite a lot. You can see it with Very Nice when you're driving around. I was seeing about 6 weeks ago £1.39 a litre, and now it's £1.49 a litre. So that's quite a big jump there, which is not great. But oil prices are looking like they're going to come back down a little bit now as well. So that potentially is good news as well. So this is a 2-year low 2-year low on inflation data, because we've had that inflation that's really high, really sticky for a long time. Now, can we celebrate and say we've defeated inflation? Probably not. What they're expecting is that we'll drop down to 2%, and then at the back end of this year, because energy costs potentially could go up again, that we might have a little bit of a creep up in inflation again. And that's what we've got to keep our eye on, because what they don't want to do is to reduce interest rates and then suddenly the inflation spikes back up again and then they have to put interest rates back up. That's not what we want at all. And so it's pretty good news so far. Now, lenders are jumping onto this. And so a number of lenders, NatWest is one. I'm going to do a video on that as well, probably today, that I'll release tomorrow. I'll probably do that in the morning because there's so much to cover in the next few days. We've got the Federal Reserve talking about their interest rates tonight. We've got the Bank of England tomorrow. We've got mortgage lenders cutting rates. We've got inflation data coming down. So there's lots of good stuff. And the ONS has come out with housing house price data for January because they have more of a lag than Nationwide and Halifax. They're saying house prices are up too. So this is so much going on that we've got to get you guys updated on. But this is a really positive thing. We've really been battling inflation for a while. If you have debt, which I have a lot of debt, mortgage debt, good debt, inflation is kind of good for you though, because my debt has been eroded significantly due to inflation. And when it's at 4%, it's getting eroded quite quickly, especially when it's at 10%. In real terms, the value of that debt went down. But at the end of the day, what would benefit me more as an investor and as a homeowner is lower mortgage rates. Now, the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve have both got meetings. We've got the Federal Reserve meeting tonight, and they're likely to hold interest rates in the USA. They're a bit more transparent, so I'll try and do a video on that tonight if I get a chance, and talk about what is the Federal Reserve feeling. Do they feel that they talk about interest rate drops, whereas the British, we don't do that. Then we've got the Bank of England meeting tomorrow lunchtime, and I'll be doing a video on that as well. And so again, the Bank of England are likely to hold interest rates. If the Federal Reserve miraculously drop rates, which I don't think they're going to, the Bank of England possibly could reevaluate and drop tomorrow, but I think that's very, very, very unlikely. I can't see that happening at all. So in summary, inflation's down. That's something to celebrate. What do you think of this? It's interesting to know because I know some of you are going to say these numbers are fudged and it's just to win the election by the Conservatives. Let me know if you think that's a possibility in these numbers, or are you starting to see things going up less quickly? I mean, when I'm shopping now, I'm not seeing prices rising apart from on fuel. That one definitely, I do notice when I'm driving around. So I do see those prices have changed. But in the supermarkets, I don't feel prices have moved much this year. I know they're higher than they were, but I don't feel they're still going up. Let me know your thoughts on that. Do comment below. Also, give me a prediction. What do you think? Do you think the Federal Reserve and the Bank of England, do you think they're going to hold interest rates in the meeting today and tomorrow? Do comment on all the videos. Do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. Why don't you go and check out some more content as well while you're on the channel, including this video right here.